having a good time. Galimera, galispera, galinichta. No matter where in this wild, wacky, and sometimes wonderful world you might be, thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. A very interesting show with some interesting subject matters this evening, squaddies. And we have the big man back. Well, I don't mean big as in he's big. He's just big.
Stop talking and play the credits.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
You know you're off to a good start when Tom Canton is directing the show. Let me just let everyone know we are live now with Tom Canton. Oh, Tom, it's Tom, not Tim. There, my little fat fingers slipping. Here we go. Rock and roll. Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for joining this evening. Here we are, and Super Tom is back in studio. Hey, Tom, how's it going, mate?
Oh, my self-esteem's through the roof now, so yeah, I'm good.
Is it?
Yeah, all good. All good.
Yeah, having a good time?
Yeah, I'm tired, to be fair. Yesterday was a long day. Got up at like 6:30 in Liverpool to write articles and then get a train after doing a show, and then didn't finish till about 11. So it was a solid, 14, 15-hour day. Yeah, it was a lot.
Do you like Liverpool, the city? Get a chance to peruse?
I do like it.
There?
I didn't really get a chance to go, and I did have dinner after the game there. It was like a Thai restaurant, Wagyu burger, very nice. Pork ribs, really good.
Football London expense account with the Wagyu, hey?
Oh, well, no, I'm paying for that, but I think I get like a little bit off, but they don't cover like every meal I have. But
I do miss a good per diem, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but the sticky soft pudding was particularly. Ooh. I mean, if you want to see it, it's on my match day vlog I uploaded on Instagram. So, it's on there.
By the way, I'm loving the Tom Canton Media Instagram account coming to life in different ways. If you're not following Tom on Instagram, go give him a follow at Tom Canton Media. For those listening on our audio platforms, Apple and Spotify, thank you so much as well for making us part of your day. I wonder how you're listening. Are you working out? Are you driving in your car? Are you just saying, so shut up and get on with it already? Let's talk some football. Probably. But Tammy Steels, thank you so much. It is true. I was born 54 years ago today. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate all the beautiful messages that I have received. Even my sweetheart is in the chat box. Thank you, Tony. Really appreciate all my cards and all the spoiling. She's literally in the other room.
Disliking the video.
Disliking the video. So, yes, thank you for letting everyone know I had birthday cake for breakfast, and it was a great start to the day, Carol. I need to do one of those swims in the Folkestone Sea, just like you do every single day. So thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate you. And indeed, welcome back, Tom. So I reached out to Tom because I wanted to do a show that dug a little deeper into, it's okay, we can come on and talk about what did you think of the transfer window? Was it great? What rating do you give it? Blah, blah, bloody blue. I want to get stuck into the squad and the quality of the squad. And when I reached out to Tom, I was post-Liverpool feeling a little deflated. Not because I don't think we're capable of winning trophies this season. I was just deflated because I had this fear that, this is how we're going to play this season. And are we going to get the best out of the players? And in particular, I feel for Gyökeres right now because we're making him look like a slug. And every single Arsenal fan mostly wanted Gyökeres, and we know that he wasn't a slug. And we saw that when we played Sporting in Europe and he whacked the crossbar and had Saliba's number. So I've got a little bit of an agenda for Tom, not in the bad way, in a good way. Before we get to it, Tom, I just wanted to get some quick fire feedback from you on a couple of things that have happened in the media narrative that has been building. The first one I wanted to get your take on is the David Raya. I wish you'd have just answered this question, like saying it was a great, just don't talk about the ball. We've seen how this has gone for Mikel Arteta. And then also I've seen quite a few people question whether or not his starting position was off. And by the way, we're coming back with our goalkeeper show this Thursday at 9:00. So we're going to talk about all of this in a little bit more depth and detail, plus a lot of other things with two very special guests. Tom, it was a worldie.
Yeah.
People are now talking about, do you need a wall when it's that far out? What's your take on what David said and also the narrative about he could have saved it?
Well, I don't think David really did anything wrong in the interview. He was asked about the ball, and I think the problem is Sky's portrayal of the interview, with just by clipping it up and putting out the quotes. He just answered the question. The ball's different. I just don't really understand why he's being asked about it compared to everybody. Why? It's obviously because Arteta was asked about the ball in the League Cup last year. Oh, I need to have a word with Sam Dean. It's all his fault. But I just think that when it comes to the David Raya's goal, I don't know if you saw Joe Hart's analysis of the free kick on Match of the Day, but he explained it perfectly. He explained that from David Raya's point of view, he does everything right. His starting position is fine. He tries to get eyes on the ball. Players move. He has to change his position to keep eyes on the ball. And, at that level, there's nothing you can do about a strike like that, So, yeah, I don't think Raya should be under any scrutiny for what I do put him under scrutiny for is the pass into Zubimendi, which nearly allowed them to. Nearly Van Dijk got in and nearly Liverpool scored. That's what I'd scrutinise him for, not for the goal. No.
We've seen him do that a little bit too much, maybe. What about the wall and this? Even Darren Bent was talking about it today on Talksport. Whether or not you really do need a wall that far out. What do you think?
Well, Raya was asked about this on I think it was like a documentary series. He was asked in the summer about Declan Rice's free kicks and whether Donnarumma would have actually been better off not having a wall, so he would have a better chance at maybe saving it. It's just part of football, isn't it? It's like the idea is that you make the shot that much harder. Make sure they have to lift the ball over the wall, and then make sure it has to dip into the goal as well. So, yeah, the whole Liverpool game, if we're talking about kind of why we lost, which I'm sure we will, for me, we have to talk about Mikel, not really the players for this game.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get into that because I did say on the post-game show, I was so proud of the players. I thought they played with a lot of courage in the first half. And I'm starting to think that discussion that we have about, and when I have it with players when Stevie Nicol or Warren Barton or David Hillier are on the show, does the manager tell you to, hold back? Or, once you cross the white lines, do you just take the opportunities and play? And one of the areas that came into contention was the Martinelli opportunity here to pass the ball. And I've heard quite a few people, Tom, say that it's almost like he's hearing Mikel's voice in the back of his head. And of course, we're never going to know that, right? But it happens so often that I think it's fair to question whether or not the players are programmed to be much more conservative. And in this instance, we're seeing a player like Martinelli, who's lost all of his creativity, who's superb defensively and off the ball. But the last time I looked, he was a forward player, not a defensive player. And every team needs a maverick. Every single team. And I can't remember who I was listening to, and I thought that was bang on. You remember the Chelsea team with Damien Duff and then Robben, just certain players, and even Liverpool, like Salah has to do very little defensively. And you just allow certain players to weave and create magic. And it just seems to me that we're asking just too much. So first, I want to touch on that before I target individual players in terms of, not target in a bad way, but talk about individual players and their best positions. What do you think about that, Tom?
I think this has been a problem in Martinelli's game for pretty much as long as he's been at Arsenal, to be honest. He was at Arsenal before Arteta arrived, and it was a problem in his really young years, and it's just not something he's been able to efficiently kind of iron out of his game. He doesn't look up. He doesn't play the right pass. His last decision is off so often. His execution of his last decision is so consistently off. And only during that 22-23 season did he really kind of flourish in those moments. I don't think if he plays a pass in this image you see on the screen now, Gyökeres makes it. I think Konate's got the advantage here over Gyökeres all day long. I think he was right to drive into the opposition half with the ball, but he should have released it much sooner than obviously he ended up trying to cut to the line and get across and end up just kicking the ball out of play. I was very frustrated by it. I think that the runs that we're making at the moment in the forward line needs to improve in those moments of transition. We saw that a number of times against Man United. The runs were not good enough. The runs were pretty poor. Gyökeres is doing the most out of those front three right now in terms of runs, but that element of his game, Martinelli, I don't really put that on the coach, the kind of how the Martinelli's decision making, because as I say, he's been under two coaches at Arsenal and he's consistently had those problems. So I'm struggling. I've got issues with Arteta and the game, but I didn't pinpoint that moment or Martinelli's individual performance as kind of an Arteta issue.
Right. I just wanted to put Amadeus's comment on here. Been supporting Arsenal since 1977. The Liverpool game was one of the worst performances. A throw-in Liverpool's corner was passed back to Raya, breaking through midfield, 3-on-3, stopped, reversed. There are a lot of fans who have a huge issue with how we played at Liverpool. And there's two sides to the coin on this one, Tom.
Yeah.
And I really want to know where you sit. And I'll just give you a snippet of where I'm at kind of 48 hours after the game. I'm shit at maths. I'm sure it's longer than that. But anyway, the issue is that, yes, you have to be sensible when you go away from home to play the champions. Yes, you have to have defensive discipline. Yes, you've got to set your team up so you can contain all of the insane creativity and speed that Liverpool have. But what I'm tired of is this same narrative, right? It's the same kind of, why couldn't we go there this time around and unleash our creative players when we had them on the ropes in the first half? At halftime, take Martinelli off, who's clearly struggling. And yes, Demsek, I hear you, six assists and 2 goals, playing against Liverpool. I get all of that, but I just don't understand why we don't. And then when you look at our away wins under Mikel Arteta, 0 at Anfield, 0 at the Etihad, 1 at Goodison Park, 1 at St. James's Park, and 1 at the City Ground. Is this a real stat? We've won away from home at other stadiums.
Yeah, Liz, I don't know where that stats come from. I don't know what it says. Fewest in the Premier. I think they're just the grounds where we've had. Fewest in the Premier.
Right, the fewest.
They're the grounds we've had our fewest away wins at.
Right. So, but the one I care about the most is the one at the top. So talk me through it, Tom. Why couldn't we bring on Eza earlier? If Odegaard is on the bench, he trained once. There's so many issues with regards to Nwaneri. Why isn't he getting a shot? And a 15-year-old player is coming on for 1 minute and Nwaneri's still warming up the bench. Talk me through why, how, what.
Well, I can give you a why, because I've asked him myself. I asked Arteta after the game if he thought, his midfield selection was too conservative from the start.
I thought that was a really brave question, by the way, and well done for asking it.
After the game, I was like, someone needs to ask this question, because it's just like, it's what I think we were all thinking. And sometimes you just need to ask the question everyone's thinking. So I said in the first half, you had a lot more joy than Liverpool in terms of turnovers, chances, and touches in the box. You can read the full transcript on the football.london website. But it was also the half where you perhaps had less of your offensive attacking players in the team. Do you feel as though, in hindsight, that the midfield was maybe slightly too conservative for the chances that you created? And he said, well, that's what we had. Martin Odegaard was injured. Kai cannot play. Merino is a player that is incredible arriving from there. We played with 3 attacking players, 2 attacking fullbacks. After the game, I think it's too easy to say that. Now, I don't agree. I empathise with what he said, but I don't agree with what he said. Because if Odegaard's not fit to start the game, then use the guy that you see as his number 2, which is Ethan Nwaneri, rather than Mikel Merino. I think you've got 2 world-class midfielders in Rice and Zubimendi that are enough in their quality to hold that midfield with the defence and the security that we know that we've got there to play Ethan Nwaneri. And at the very minimum, Eze, if he's not fit enough to start, should be coming on at half-time, either for Merino or for Martinelli. And then, of course, you can bring Odegaard later and then push Eze out to the wide left position. So you give Odegaard the last 20 and Eze plays 45. So for me, I don't agree with the answer. I don't agree with the sentiment. And I don't agree with the selection of the midfield, and I don't agree with the in-game substitution timings that were made, is what I'm at. That said, the comment that you raised earlier about this being one of our worst performances for someone who's watched Arsenal since 1977, with all due respect, means that since 1977, they have missed a lot of games. That's what I would say to that. Because Arsenal have played untold number of worse games than that. In context, and it kind of brings into those stats you were bringing up. Do you know the last time Liverpool were beaten at Anfield in the league?
Over, it's almost 2 years.
It's
Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest.
It's, as far as I'm aware, it's Leeds United in October of 2022.
Didn't Forest beat them at Anfield?
That's what when I was Googling this, and that was the last time. What was Forest the league game?
I'm pretty sure. Squaddies.
One
get
defeat
to work.
In 2022. Let me see if I can Google it for you quickly. So,
yeah, they're difficult to beat at home. Of course, they're Liverpool. They're the champions. They've got an amazing team. Forest won at Anfield. Yes,
September 2024. So one defeat at home since October 2022. So one defeat in those 2 to 3 years or whatever it is. Other teams, the Chelsea of this world, the Cities of this world have gone there, tried to win, have not won. What I wanted to see from this game was Arsenal going up there to grab a victory, but I feel like we went up there to snatch a victory rather than that. And I think one of the biggest kind of narratives around the game is that because we lost, because of, I don't think either team deserved to win this game. The only way it was going to get won was by an absolute moment of magic. I mean, Liverpool's chances compared to our chances throughout the game, I mean, you could put a cigarette paper between them. They had the goal that was ruled out for offside. That was the only other real major chance that they had during the game. They had a lot more dominance in the second half, but we were obviously more impressive in the first half. And I really think there's kind of been a narrative strung around this game now that's completely removed what actually happened. And I think Arne Slot said it perfectly afterwards, which was, if you play this game 10 times, 8 of them end in draws, 1 of them ends in a Liverpool win as it did, 1 of them ends in an Arsenal win, because that's how it was. So what's the shame for me is that I didn't want Arsenal to play it that way. I didn't want Arsenal to go up to Liverpool, who'd already conceded 4 goals this season to Newcastle and Bournemouth, 2 of them being at Anfield, and go up there to win the physical battle and to try and snatch it if we could. I wanted to give us more than a 10% chance of winning at Anfield. I wanted 30 or 40, to go for the 30 or 40. And I think that you would do that potentially by playing a Nwaneri or by playing an Eze earlier. And I think there's things we could have done differently. But I do think the narrative around this game has been spun because Arsenal lost very differently. And I think Liverpool have been spoken about in a very... Liverpool's kind of... Did you hear Schmeichel's comments? Like, Schmeichel went utterly mad after the game.
I put it up along with this stat, the one about Arsenal bring an ugly brand of football.
a team to win more than Liverpool in this game.
Says the ex-Manchester United player.
Because Arsenal bring an ugly brand of football. Liverpool played no better than Arsenal. They didn't play any better free-flowing football than Arsenal. Arsenal created plenty of chances in the first half from really good pieces of play, from industrious tackling, from counter-attacking, from transitions. The ball from Zubimendi to Madueke was excellent. We did finally play a long ball for once in our lives over the top from Raya to Madueke that was really, really strong as well. I find it odd. Eze had a great chance in the second half. Obviously, he went down and tried to claim a penalty. I'd rather he probably stayed on his feet and went for the shot. But this idea that Liverpool was somehow the pinnacle of football in this game and Arsenal were the team that weren't very good, it's just wrong. Both teams were poor in this game and Liverpool just had the edge in the crazy free kick that Szoboszlai scored.
I agree with what Jason Swift is saying here. I don't care about what Slot says. They have 3 points, we have 0. And let me know what you think about this. I think Liverpool have earned the right. And our problem, Tom, which is why the narrative sticks and nothing changes for us, is we haven't earned the right. We haven't earned the respect. Coming second again. We're the nearly men. We're the team that can't close. We're perceived to be the team that kind of shrinks in the spotlight. And the difference is they've won, and they've won recently. We haven't. So Slot can say all he wants about you play that game 8 times. I agree with Jason. They've come away with 3 points. Until we win something significant, and I think even then, if Mikel does win the Premier League or the Champions League, they'll still find ways. Well, they'll hate Arsenal even more. But that's the only time he's going to get any respect. And because of the way he behaves sometimes in presses, because he's showed lack of humility, it seems like there's excuses. I want to back him and I want to talk, about my team in a really positive way. But I just think that the love coupons have run out in terms of now, Arsenal, it's called kind of like your David versus Goliath, even though we're like this really big club. I just think this season, that's all out the window even more so. So if fans thought that last season people were coming for us, it's going to be even worse this season because we've invested heavily and he has the players. And it's not like Stevie Nicol was on this show, Tom, and he feared this game. He thought he went for the draw because he didn't want to pick his team to lose. But he was afraid. And it turned out that Konate and VVD found their legs and that defense found their legs. And it's small things like out-swinging corners, not in-swinging corners when you have Madueke. What are you doing?
I don't know what Madueke's set-piece records deliveries are like, though. I have no idea. We know that Declan Rice is an incredible delivery.
In-swinging.
I think he had a bit... Well, not necessarily just in swinging. Like he could fizz a ball straight across the box as he tried to do a couple of times, and obviously there was a couple of poor deliveries from him on the day. But just because you have a left footer in Madueke, I have no idea. Rice's right-footed fizzers could be better than Madueke's left-footed deliveries. I don't know if
we're not.
Do you
trying
know if Madueke's
like
ever taken a corner? I don't know if he's ever taken a corner.
I don't know, but are we? I guess because Saka's not there and Madueke's the deputy. Like I expect maybe things to evolve in training and for us to try something new. And someone will say, "Don't be naive. You don't try new things at Anfield." But okay, let's start with something simple, right? Why was Mikel Merino playing in this game? Why did he start Mikel Merino? Like, what is it? What is it? Does he not? We have the
reason is that he didn't have Ødegaard. That's the primary reason why he didn't.
Again, he's thinking defensively. He's not thinking offensively, right? He's not. He's all in some. I get why some people may think this is negative. Do you trust Timber and Calafiori and Saliba, Mosquera? I'll get to that in a minute. And Brilliant. Big Gabby and David Raya.
As I said, if it was me, I would have started Nwaneri. If it was me, I would have brought Eze on at halftime. If it was me, I would have done things differently. But he decided that the best way to win this game from his perspective, with the players at his disposal, was to play Marino in the midfield. And at half time, he was justified in that decision because we were the better team. And if there was one team at half time that looked more likely of winning the game, it was Arsenal. But in the second half, where his in-game management comes under scrutiny, is that he didn't make the relevant changes that he needed to make to capitalise on the stronger half that we had. And from that point forward, Liverpool grew into the game. And when he did bring players like Ødegaard and Eze on, we were already under the cosh so much that if we were going to nick it, it was going to be really tight between the two teams. I've gone like full 360 on this game. I've looked at it from the perspective of being critical. But Sophie, what's your expectation? Like, what in your mind, when we're saying he's too conservative, he's not attacking enough, he's not brave enough, tell me what your expectation is going to Anfield, who have lost one league game there since 2022 October. Like, what is your expectation of what you want to see? Because I'm hearing a lot of like what he didn't do and this isn't good enough and he's too conservative. But what did you want to see different and what would it have looked like?
Okay, a few things. And for those listening on our audio platforms, I'm showing an image right now of all of our new signings. Hello?
Have I lost Soph? Oh no, you're there. You're there. You're back.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. It might be on my end. Sorry. Just let me refresh my screen and I'll come back.
Wait, maybe can the squaddies hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me, squaddies? Let me know if you can hear me. Tom couldn't hear me. So let's see. Maybe it is me. Is it me?
It was me. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So for you, I was like,
I go, not again. Jeez, I can't take it. It's my birthday. By the way, hit the like button, everyone. 300 of you in live chat and a few on other social media platforms as well. Appreciate you tuning in. So, of course, Norgard's injured. In Kepier is just arriving. But you got Madueke, you've got Eze, Zubi starts, Gyökeres starts, and Mosquera was a beast when he came on. So I'll answer your question, right? I saw Crystal Palace. Now, maybe it's because Liverpool went at these other teams differently. Maybe they showed us too much respect at the weekend. And that's a good place to be in, right? Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, and Newcastle all scored goals against Liverpool.
They all lost.
Yeah, but we lost and scored none, right? And also, wait, those teams, I expect them to lose against Liverpool. Wait, didn't Crystal Palace win the Community Shield?
I was at Wembley. I thought we were talking about games at Anfield.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the recent history here. Newcastle played better with 10 men against Liverpool than we did. Now, maybe that's because they were at home. They wanted gung-ho. There was a whole bunch of different levels to that match, of course, with the Isaac beef and everything. But they played them like they wanted to win that game. I'll give you an example too that I spoke about on Sunday.
We didn't want to win the game because I don't agree with that.
We didn't behave like we wanted to win. We may have wanted to win the game, but in the second half, we did not behave like we wanted to win the game, Tom.
I don't know how you quantify that.
Because I'll tell you why. When they scored the goal, we had no answers. What is our plan B to at least then go and try and get a point out of the game? It just illustrated to me, that's like desperation kicks in. And we've seen this before. It's like PSG, 4 minutes to go. Oh, now you're going to bring on Nwaneri? You brought on Benjamin White and Calafiori when we needed a goal. See, I'm not trying to attack Mikel. I'm just looking at the evidence from behavior in the past. And there's a pattern that has emerged here. And so when you are high on the window, because we had a really good window and we brought in really good players, and Eze had just played the Charity Shield 2 weeks ago. And you're telling me that he's not ready, but Ødegaard, who trained
I agree
once
with you
in
on
the
that,
week,
didn't I? I said I would have started him. What I'm not aligned on here is this idea that we listed those teams like Newcastle scored 2 goals, Bournemouth scored 2 goals. I don't care. And like if you agreed with what Jason said earlier, but you highlighted that comment and said, I don't care. Arsenal got 0 points, Liverpool got 3 points. But then later in this conversation, you've brought up examples of teams who got 0 points and Liverpool got 3 points.
Yeah, but so we're better than those teams, Tom, and I expect more from us. Plus, we've been crying out for a number 9, and everyone keeps saying Arsenal can win the league with a number 9. We're setting this guy up to fail. I fear for Gyökeres.
He just scored 2 goals in our first home game
at
of the season.
Home against Leeds. I'm talking about how we've set up away from home, right? We're making him look like a slug. Like you've got this beast in the box. How many crosses met Gyökeres' head in the match against United at Old Trafford or Liverpool at Anfield? How many crosses?
I don't think that's the way I want to really play. So if I don't really want
not all the time, at least 1 or 2. I'm not saying that's how we want to play. We were playing like that when Kieran Tierney was. You say you don't want to play like that, but
we weren't challenging for titles when we were doing that. So,
but now you have a number 9 who has the physicality and at least to take a couple players with him, right? So he can create some space, but we're making him look so slow. And also, I'm asking you this, Tom, because it's like a therapy session in a way.
Oh, nice.
Why don't we pass? Why can't we play through the middle? But we go middle wide.
Gravenberch, Van Dijk, and Canate are probably the reason.
But to make a killer pass through the middle, like
we didn't have Ødegaard either at the start of the game. Like, so if you've set up with Mikel Merino and Rice and Zubimendi, then it is most likely that your passing is going to go into those wide spaces. You know, Elliot says, "Where's the bravery?" The bravery was there. The bravery was there in certain moments.
First half, it was bravery in defending, not in attacking.
In the first half, it was brave for Zubimendi to play the ball in behind Nwaneri to take on Gyökeres. It was brave for Raya to play the ball over the top to Madueke, who then took on Gyökeres. It was brave for us to play in that certain style to try and physically beat Liverpool. Like, this is where I have an issue with a lot of the comments around this, is because no one's telling me anything I don't know, and no one's telling me anything that solves these problems. There's a lot of words that get used, but what would have really being said.
So basically, what would have solved this is at halftime.
Yeah,
he needs to be braver to make changes. Martinelli should have come off.
I agree.
And you agree, right?
Yeah, I agree with you.
So that shows intent to try and get something out of the game.
Yeah,
sticking until the 70th minute doesn't show intent to try and win the game. We are reactive. We're not proactive. This is the issue, right? And there has to come a time where you turn the page and you get a result. We were very close to getting that result at the Etihad, all but for a last goal in the last second. And we did it bravely with 10 men. Those 2 seasons, and I know some people don't like going back to, you're going to talk about 22, 23, 23, 24. Yeah, I am. That was unbelievable football. We were playing some of the best football, not only in the Premier League, in Europe, and we were winning and we were challenging. There's a chip that has flipped for Mikel. And I don't know, Clive Palmer thinks it is post that Man City game. He said that on this show, that it gave Mikel another idea of how to win a football game. And I've really started to believe that, Tom.
I think that the switch thing's an interesting one. I think that there's games where, like we saw at Anfield, is that does Arteta have the ability to change something in a game that takes a game from a losing or a winning position and turning into 3 points for us? And that is the area of his management at the moment that I have the problem with, is that I don't think, the word proactive there was perfect. Like, for me, I haven't yet seen enough of it. If we score first, I'm very confident we win games. Very confident that we'll win a game if we score first. But if we go behind, or if we're drawing late into a game, my confidence is far, far, far lower in those situations. I
I can see that.
I think that the issue is that there is a lot of people that don't like Arteta, that haven't liked Arteta for a long time and will never like Arteta. And that, unfortunately, completely undermines anything they say when it
But that's
comes
not
to
where
criticism.
I'm coming from,
I
Tom.
don't think I'm just about to say, I don't think that's where you're coming from, because I think you're balanced on the topic, and we've had some very constructive conversations around this and the manager in general. The issue that I've got is that from this perspective of this game, my issues with Arteta in this game is A, he didn't start the team that I think he should have started, and B, I don't think he was proactive enough in the second half. But in reality, I think the discourse around how we played in this particular game is hyperbole. I just think that it is so over the top, because people, it comes across to me almost slightly like people haven't watched the game, didn't see the game, didn't see how it played out, and didn't see how much of a knife edge it was. And that we were just as likely in this game as Liverpool were to win it. Just as likely. I just don't see it any other way.
I disagree with that because, and no guts, no glory. Liverpool showed, and by the way, good evening, Mr. Simiu's in the house, and kind of reiterated what I said. I had his comment up for a bit. I don't know if you saw it, Tom. Let me go back and try and find it somewhere here. I don't think the starting 11 was a huge issue. I wanted to see us be proactive with changes before Slot did it. Wanted us to smell blood and roll the dice. If we'd have lost 1-0 that way, fine, which is kind of, what I'm saying. Here's the thing too, right? With, and Albert's in the house as well. Albert, evening, mate. The phrase I often use is proactive versus reactive, and that's what I was talking about. Dean says, I love you, Tom, but you're not showing us how he's set up to win against Liverpool.
I can do if you want.
And yes, Mark, congratulations to Harry. He's become a pupper again. I'm sure he has time to be, he's probably negotiated a little bit of a half hour off. Go on. Do you want to answer Dean's question then?
It's really simple. Like I don't, this is what I'm struggling with so much, is that Arteta set us up to win this game in his mind, which I personally don't agree with entirely of what his methodology was. And the evidence is obviously in both the first half, and the evidence is in how Arsenal limited Liverpool to as few opportunities that they had. Like outside of the free kick and the disallowed goal, they didn't create a clear-cut opportunity. The disallowed goal outside of the free kick is the only clear-cut opportunity that they had, that they created themselves. The other one came from David Raya's poor pass out to Van Dijk. If you can name another one, I'd love to hear it. But when it comes to how Arteta set up, as they went in at halftime, that's how he wanted the whole game to play out. So Arsenal look much more physically dominant than Liverpool. They're winning the ball back more confidently. They're turning the ball over in different situations. They're getting Madueke in behind. They're getting touch in the box. There was a point, I think, 35 or 40 minutes into the first half, we'd had 7 touches in Liverpool's box. They'd had 0 in ours. And that shows you the intent that was clearly there in how we wanted to win that game. We wanted to nick it. We wanted to nick the game and win the game, win 1-0, run home, 3 points, lovely job. Because there just isn't an example of teams going to Anfield and steamrolling Liverpool. There just isn't examples of that. It just doesn't happen because they're an incredible team, a brilliant team. And if you overcommit against them, they will punish you. Look at the way you brought up the Newcastle example the other day. They got the game back to 2-2. They went for the winner, and look what happened. Because that's what they do. So we went to that game to nick it. I wanted to see us be somewhat more proactive in it, in getting there. But I believe that the foundations of what he was trying to do was right. I just think he was slightly too conservative in how he approached it.
I agree. Okay, I hear what you're saying, right? And stats-wise, we had 11 shots, 1 on target.
Yeah.
1 shot on target. 371 passes to their 435. Our accuracy was 81%. There's 84. I don't want to get into the minutiae of numbers. You know how sometimes I don't like that, and it's the eye test.
Yeah.
And I want to half volley here says we were lured into a false sense of security. I think Mikel is naive sometimes. And I think Slot and this has happened before, in the first half, they made us believe something that maybe just wasn't real. In the second half,
What?
you could. I'm telling
Explain
you
that to me. I don't get that.
Listen, I think Liverpool made us think that we were in the game.
Do you think they purposely played off key to make us?
I'm not saying off key. No, they played the way they did defensively, giving us the possession because, you know, Mikel's possession obsession. They allowed us and lured us in. And then in the second half, Slot went, right, we gave you the ball. We've let you have your turn. And now we're going to go and try and win the game. And that's exactly what he did. He made his subs earlier. And it felt like...
why they won the game, though. They won the game.
It changed the momentum of the game.
No, it didn't. It didn't really.
We're way off our subject matter, by the way, Tom. Here, this is not what I wanted to talk about. But
no,
fine,
but this is great, and I love it. You know, this is great. Sometimes great shows they lose all structure. Like for me, like they won the game because of a crazy free kick. That's how they won the game. If they didn't score that free kick, I think it ends in a draw, or Arsenal nick it, or they nick it in another crazy way. The irony is that they out-Arsenaled Arsenal. They won the game from a set piece. The irony of that shouldn't be lost on anybody. They didn't play great. Arne Slot isn't a genius in this game.
But hold on one second. So we're saying, and by the way, Half Volley follows up. Thank you. It's like a boxing match. You test your opponent and their power for a few rounds, and then you go in for the kill. Liverpool felt us out, and in the second half, they went for it.
They didn't go for it.
But hold on one second. If we're going to credit our team for playing a masterful defensive game in the first half, then why are we criticizing Liverpool for playing for doing the disciplined defensive strategic execution as well? And I guess here's what I see, right? And you can tell me what you think about this. What Slot has shown me, and this is just my humble opinion, since he's joined Liverpool, Klopp was a fantastic manager, heavy metal football, gung-ho, right? What Slot has done is come in and still, you know, made that personality, that sexy football, that speed shine. But he's added this layer of discipline. And that midfield, you know, Gravenberch was not the player he was. You know, he's helped him evolve. And I want to see Mikel do the same thing on the opposite side. He's made us the best defense in the Premier League. We're one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in Europe. Kevin Hatchard was in here talking about us being the best team off the ball. Graham Hunt has said the same thing. Many people have. And I just want to see Mikel do what Slot did, but in the opposite direction, Tom. Because I think we would be unbeatable. I really do.
I don't think there was any difference between how either of them managed the game, Sophie. That's the thing for me. Is that
no, but I'm talking about Slot's body of work, not just in this game.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Liverpool were very hard to beat last season.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were.
And under Klopp, they were a little easier to beat.
But the only reason they won the league, Sophie, is because their two main title challengers had nothing, had lost everything that they had that they could have competed them with. That's the reason they won the league last season. There was the most fortunate situation for Liverpool. They're good anyway. Arne Slot came in, inherited a team that had won Premier League and Champions League and had competed for City for years. And in a season where he had his best players, his opponents didn't. And that's why he won the league.
Okay, so what about when we had all of our players fit and didn't win the league? What's our excuse, Tom?
That we were nearly perfect and the team that beat us were slightly more perfect. They won.
That's my point. We're always nearly perfect. We're always nearly there. We're always nearly great. Slot came in his first season, and of course he inherited a phenomenal squad. The architecture was unbelievable, right? The winning culture was instilled and there. But it's still his first managerial job in England with one of the biggest clubs in the world.
Yeah.
And that it comes with an incredible amount of pressure, and you are replacing an absolute legendary manager. And yes, he had the luck of injuries, but it's a bit of a myth because they lost Alisson at some point. They lost Canate. They had lost Van Dijk. Of course, I'm not saying their injuries were as bad as ours.
Nowhere near.
They still, they still found a way to win. You can only play who's in front of you. And Tom, I would argue this, as bad as our team was last season, 14 draws and dropping 21 points from winning positions. If we get 11 of those points, we're closer.
Yeah,
So
I know.
I just am tired of the if, when, almost narrative, because you can look at all of those things in buckets or as a whole.
Yeah.
But we only had ourselves to blame as well.
I don't deal in ifs
season.
and buts, Sophie. I don't deal in ifs and buts. I'm not using ifs and buts here. I'm talking about the reality. I'm talking
the reality is we dropped 21 points from winning positions last season.
And the reality is that we did that because we didn't have the squad. We didn't have the squad to do that. We lost our best
teams,
player.
we shouldn't have won certain games against certain teams.
Against certain teams in the Premier League, we ultimately were weaker than we should.
Why could we do it in the Champions League, Tom? Why did we have such a great Champions League?
We got beaten
by PSG and Inter Milan. We had the rest of our campaign was superb.
Well, yeah, it was superb, and we beat teams like Real Madrid when we got players like Saka back into the fold, and we had Rice, and we had Marino.
And Saka wasn't the reason why we Declan. Yeah,
Declan Rice is a huge part of why we won that. And if we're saying that Declan Rice is a huge part of why we won those games because of the 2 free kicks he scored in particular and his overall performances, that's part of the reason why Liverpool won on the weekend, because Szoboszlai had a brilliant performance and scored a brilliant free kick. So I don't work in these ifs, buts and maybes when it comes to Arsenal, because for me, I work on the body of work that we've seen. And the body of work that we've seen at Arsenal last season is they reached 2 semi-finals and has finished second place despite having 27 separate injuries and more than anybody else in the league. What we did last season, what they achieved last season, is not silver. I don't deal in football in binary ways. I don't look at it in binary fashion. It's like that question earlier about Liverpool won the game, Arsenal didn't, so we have to have the conversation in that. I don't deal with football in that way. And I won't ever deal with football in that way, because that's not how football works. It's like people who turn to you and say, if he doesn't win anything, he has to go. That's a ridiculous question to ask at the beginning of a season, because we don't know what's going to happen.
It's a fair question to ask at the end of this season.
At the end of the season. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not talking about now.
Information. That's what I'm talking about.
And I'm going by what I saw last season, Tom. 14 draws, 21 points dropped. Okay. And injuries. those players, we lost Saka December 21.
Yeah.
We lost Havertz in January.
Half a season.
And Odegaard was out October, November.
Mikel Marino was then out for 3 months. We lost Ben White for half a season. We lost Gabriel for the entire end of the season.
We did. And our bench wasn't as good, right? No. But in certain games, right, where we lapsed in mental aptitude. And I think part of our problem is, I don't know how we handle things, if we handle things as well. I've always said Arsenal will be judged towards the end of the season. How do we handle things mentally? How strong are we? That Real Madrid game, right? I felt like, man, if Arteta can capture this in a bottle, this is brilliant. Because we played like we gave 0 Fs.
Yeah.
We were like, and we absolutely killed them. PSG game comes along, and then all the stupid narrative starts, all the stupid videos start. We start talking about history. This is why people come at us. Make the history, and then let's talk about it. Win the game, and then let's talk about it. We get into our own head. So as much as it is 14 draws, 21 points dropped, mentally, we're not there yet. We've shifted our culture. We're Arsenal 2.0. He's done an amazing job making us competitive again, that you and I can even have this conversation, right?
Yeah.
But we're going to be judged on those things. And I think that's why the microscope is so on Arsenal, because it always feels like just when we're going to take that next step, we take a tiny step back. And I'm not saying we're not going to win anything this season. I'm not Arteta out. I've just seen this, and I've not. Maybe it will change as the season goes.
Look, I hear that, and I'd be happy to have more of a conversation about taking a step back if Liverpool beat us and deserve to. But the reality in my mind is they didn't, Sophie. Is that neither team on Sunday deserved to win that game. And the only reason that they did was because of an amazing free kick. Arsenal created more better chance than they did. They had one disallowed goal, and they had a chance that was created by David Raya's bad pass, and that is it. That is all that they had to win that game. We created more opportunities, we had more touches in their box, and we were looking at trying to create in that first half, and ultimately the game fell away in the second half because I felt that we weren't proactive enough. And that's where we align and we agree, is that Arteta in the second half, and what Harry was saying as well, is that they weren't proactive enough with the changes. He should have made different changes and we should have gone there. But the idea that Liverpool on Sunday showed the world an example of why they're champions and why Arsenal aren't is ludicrous, because that game did not showcase that at all. That game showcased two very good teams that have a lot of respect for one another, trying to snatch victory, and created very little between them of real note. And in the end, were separated by an amazing goal.
The killer instinct, right? The killer instinct is, okay, it was an amazing goal. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But they were showing the killer instinct. They had us on the ropes. We looked worried. We started waning.
Tell me, beyond that goal, what major chances they created, Sophie?
Tom, they were putting pressure on us. It's the
pressure on them in the first half. I don't get this.
Yeah, but the point is that when it counts, they won. They got the goal. Whether it was a worldie or whether, they whiffed on some chances, they scored a worldie. We had the opportunities to as well. And the point is that we don't finish our chances. We don't create enough chances to win the game. And that's a problem.
But
that's a real problem for us.
I can't agree with
you. Yeah, but they're the champions, Tom. They've proven things. We haven't, which is why we're going to be
a year off. That's not how it works.
No, it's not about getting a year off. It's about showing that they're still the kings of England and that we went in there confident. People started talking about us winning this game, including an ex-Liverpool legend who was on the show last Friday.
Yeah.
And I believed we were going to win the game. I was wrong. I said I fancy us 3-1 with the way their defense is playing and how they played against Bournemouth, Newcastle and Crystal Palace in the Community Shield. And I'm saying, why can't we cross that line? That's all. I'm not surprised that we lost in the end. I just don't like how we lost in the end because we were too conservative. And let me just bring this up too, because I want to get your take on it. I know we've gone a little bit over than what I said, but this is
you're fine. You've got those time.
So when we talk about last season, why we lost, right? I don't know. You've probably talked about this on your show. I'm sure you have a certain perspective on it. When this happens to Saliba in the warm-up, right? An injury. All right.
Yeah.
Now I'm sure that he was asked and he said he's fine to continue. Big managers make calls and they make ballsy calls. And he's your best asset. And there's an international break coming up. And I know it's Liverpool and this is the time to beat them. So in a sense, you are taking a risk, but you're also taking a risk with one of your most valuable assets, health. Yeah. Then you see this guy come on, Mosquera, and perform the way he did. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Kevin Hatchard was on this show and told you guys about Mosquera. He's the truth, right? So when you buy him for a certain reason, you see that he's super talented. Why do you even take that risk, Tom, knowing what happened last season? And also in the press conference after Leeds, I believe he kind of self-admitted, said we need to learn lessons about our players and injuries and stuff. What did he make a mistake?
Yeah, 100%. Awful error. Absolutely horrendous decision from the management, from the coaching staff, anyone involved in deciding to start Saliba. Awful decision. He should have been nowhere. If you've had a player twist his ankle and you've invested money in Mosquera and he's ready and he's played and he's fit, away at Anfield in the biggest away game of our season, that you take a risk on a player that is so important for the season as a whole, I cannot understand. Not justify it. And it is a horrendous choice. So I don't know why, Sophie, they decided to still play him. If he's come off the field and said, I believe I can play, you have to tell him, tough. You've injured yourself in training. You've needed aid to move away from where you were. You're saying that because you're a player who desperately wants to play. It's an awful decision. and rightly should be scrutinised.
Yeah. I just thought that we would not see that this season. And this is what the subject of the show, you guys, actually was. Mikel Arteta's toolbox. Does he have what it takes to manage this team? And who plays where and why? We have all these versatile players, but what are their best positions? I think we're going to have to do a part 2 on that one, Tom, because I really want to have that conversation with you.
For sure.
Like, for example, I wanted to throw out tonight, should Calafiori be the left winger and pull a Harry Redknapp, Gareth Bale move and play him there? Like,
no, I don't.
Okay, that's one of the wackier ones. In short, no. Yeah. But I think you and I will have that conversation. There's 400 people in live chat right now. Please hit the like button. This has really been a great discussion. Do you have room for 5 more minutes?
Yeah, I've got time.
Oh, okay. All right, good. You've got time. All right. So yes, agree with you. And Mosquera was brilliant, by the way. Talk about come on. He was so brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Now, the Scotties put this up and they wanted me to, our chief like officer, Tammy Steels here has mentioned it. And Jason, who made a good comment earlier. Do you feel, of all the things to talk about after the game, it's his first match for Arsenal. He's played, 22 minutes, 23 minutes?
Yeah.
Do you feel like Arteta dug Eze out by mentioning his missed chance? I mean, I know he should have done better, but do you think I heard him say it was very quick, and he called him Ebbs. Ebbs had a really good chance and should have finished that.
Yeah, he said you have to put the ball in the back of the net. We were much better last year when we drew the game. Today we have 3 or 4 or 5 situations inside the box, 1 versus 1. Eze's completely through just to finish the action. You have to put the ball in the net if you want to win.
Never says that about Havertz. I agree with TV1 and other players.
Oh, that's not true. He absolutely does.
Has he? Is there a quote where he said Havertz should have finished that? Did he say Havertz's name?
I don't know. I think if we're talking about the names, after the Man United game, he couldn't have been more clear about criticising our lack of finishing. That was our major chance in the game.
Calling names out, that's different from Mikel. And maybe he's saying to Ebbs.
Why is it one rule for him? And I don't get this. And I can see in the chat as well. I don't get this, Sophie. We've
don't mention don't mention Eze's name to start off with. Make it generic then. It's his first match. I just thought that was a little bit off. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. Maybe he wants to put pressure on him and raise the expectations. But I just didn't like that.
Here in one breath and criticize Arteta for not starting Eze or bringing on Eze because it's his first game.
No, I'm talking about his quote in the presser.
No, I'm not getting to that. I'm just saying. I don't think in the same breath of saying we can criticize Arteta for not starting Eze because it's his first game. It's his first game. He should be able to play. So we can sit here and say Eze should play despite the fact it's his first game, but we can't say that we shouldn't criticize Eze for missing his chance, or Arteta can't highlight that was a chance that he should finish. I don't agree. Sorry, I just don't.
I just listen. You're in the pressers all the time,
yeah, and
mostly he doesn't, unless he's asked about positive stuff. I thought X, Y, and Z did great. He rarely says a player's name, registering with a miss. I just thought it was a little off that it was Eze's first match, and he did that. Okay, so what else do I have for you? So, how do you see this going forward, real quick, and then we'll do the follow-up show. But how do you see this going forward with Mikel and managing this squad this season, Tom? And because I sent you a list of players that I felt like can play in different positions. So if Saka's fit and if everyone's fit, right, is White at right back, is Timber at left back, or is Timber at right back and Calafiori at left back? Is, Saka's on the right, of course, is Eze on the left. Is how I feel like it's so important for him. Of course, it is to get this right. But if everyone's fit, what do you think he does?
It's Odegaard, Saka, Gyökeres, Eze as a front four for me. That's our best front four. I think Eze is the guy for me that's going to help transform the left-hand side. So if he gets over crying from Arteta moaning about his finish, obviously, but I think that's the way forwards for us. What?
Come on now.
He's a big boy. I think he'll recover, guys. I think he'll be all right. You know, I think that's our best front four. I think that's the area where the transformation happens. Is Eze coming onto that left-hand side? You saw it in the game. Like the 20 minutes that we got of him compared to the 70 minutes of Martinelli was night and day. Yeah. Night and day. Like, so that is really exciting to see what potentially, you know, we can get going forwards. So
yeah. And Arsenal 8 Club, Mosquera in the party DM role. By the way, this is the show we're going to do because I'm telling you, you could go from Calafiori to Mosquera, Timber. You could talk about Miles Lewis-Skelly now. Is it time to be giving him a shot in midfield? Because he's not going to be able to get a sniff. All of a sudden, Miles Lewis-Skelly is like looking at maybe not starting a lot this season. So Tom's going to come back and we're going to do that show. We had an organic conversation and it was awesome. And before you go, Tom, I need to ask you one more. What's going on with Nwaneri? And I'm going to ask you a naive question here. I'm not afraid to ask it. Do you think there's it's organic? Did we sign Nwaneri to protect the contract? And do you see a scenario where he could go out on loan in January, Tom?
If he doesn't play enough minutes, I definitely, if I was in his shoes, I'd be looking to remedy that with a loan. It's way too early to have a kind of a conclusive view on it, but I look forward to hopefully seeing him get plenty of minutes this season. But it's just so early. Like I know that we crave kind of conclusions and we crave end results, but it's just so early to kind of think about the idea that we're
1 minute to go, right? He did it to him in the semi-finals, 4 minutes ago. But this time, Nwaneri played, I thought, really well against Leeds at home. Didn't you?
Did you? I didn't think he was very good. I thought he had a pretty poor game against Leeds.
I thought that he gave away his pass percentage was quite good in that game, and it looked like he gave the ball away a couple of times. But like super smart players, a lot of the times we'd say that about Ozil and Odegaard, and I'm not saying he's that level, but they think ahead. And sometimes it's about who you're passing it to versus the pass. I think that happens to Odegaard sometimes. It used to happen to Ozil. Like, get smart, be smart. But we still scored 4 goals with him on the pitch. I'm not saying he was responsible for that.
No, I think it was more to do with the game state than anything else. Like we went 1-0 up and Leeds now have the emphasis to attack us because they're a goal down. Obviously, we lose Odegaard. Nwaneri comes on the field. But no, I didn't think he was particularly great. I still would have started him at Anfield. It's not me saying I don't rate the guy. I just think that I didn't think he was particularly great. I thought if anything, it was kind of carried a little bit through the Leeds game. Myself.
Are you concerned?
I feel like I'm just disagreeing with you for the sake of
I love it. It's fine. It's about time we did.
I'm not.
No. You're not being pedantic. You're just being.
I'm saying things I've said already.
But would you be worried if you're Nwaneri that Dalman comes on with a minute to go? I actually think that Arteta subbed Dalman on to try and win a penalty. I mean, that's a tactic,
I raised this
maybe.
point. I said if you've got the confidence if you're losing at Anfield and you've got the confidence to bring on a 15-year-old to try and get you a goal at Anfield, why haven't you got the proactive nature to start Nwaneri in this game? Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a contradiction there. Like, if Arteta's brave enough, or whatever word you want to use, to bring on Dalman with like minutes remaining at Anfield, then I'm surely you must have the nous or whatever word you want to use to start Nwaneri. I just find that odd. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been a fantastic conversation, and we will do the Toolbox show during the international break, Tom. But wait. Hello. Are you having an international break, Tom?
Hell yeah. I'm going away.
You're going to one of my favorite places in the world. Are you going to please make sure you go to that pizza place I told you?
Yes, I'm definitely going to get there. I'm looking forward to going away. I need a few days off to get right back to it. You know, I've got to keep batting away the trolls, Sophie. It takes it out of you. It does. You know, you've got to keep batting away the trolls.
Keep
And
looking
if
behind
you
that
saw this
shoulder,
morning's
Tom.
show, and I open up this invite always. You know, I always say, you know, I'm very open to hearing other points of view and to listening to other opinions and stuff. And I do it so often that I invite people onto our phone-ins. I did it this morning. I had a couple of people in the chat box. You know, they vehemently disagreed with what I was saying. I was like, guys, let me know if you want to come on the show. I'll put you on a platform, and we can have a chat about it. And I'd love to hear it. They disappeared, Sophie. I couldn't believe it. It was like Avengers Infinity War. They kind of turned to dust and just disappeared. So I'll extend the invite to your listeners, Sophie. If anyone's got disagreement, you know, the squaddies.
Well, TV1 saying trolls, aka genuine criticism.
Well, TV1 is more than welcome.
Look at them. Here they go. Trolls equals non-Arteta lovers.
They love it. They love it. You don't need my email. You've got all of the access to my social media accounts. They're all open. DMs are all open. I'm an open book, boys and girls.
Go get him, squaddies.
Go
get him. Well, maybe when are you off on your vacay?
This weekend. Yeah, just for a few days.
So maybe when you get back, we can do the other show as we go into what is so thankfully going to be a non-disruptive schedule until Christmas time and after. So yeah, be good. You doing a morning show tomorrow?
Always.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Doors open.
I might pop in.
Yeah, of course.
We are doing a actual fan roundtable tomorrow at 9:00, and a few of you did email me, so that's going to be interesting. You get to have your voice heard. It will be about your thoughts. I'll just moderate. If you want to join the fan show at 9:00 UK time tomorrow, email the Highbury Squad at gmail.com, the Highbury Squad at gmail.com. On Thursday at 9:00, the Goalkeeper Show returns. I'm really proud to say I think we're maybe one of the only shows out there that actually does a dedicated goalkeeper show. So looking forward to that, and we'll have a very special guest joining us for this season on that as well. So listen out. Thanks so much, everyone. Tom, thanks so much as well for your generous time. Squaddies, I'll see you tomorrow night. And remember, always be respectful, whether we agree or disagree. And don't forget to tell your loved ones you love them. And for all of those who donated to Toffee TV's marathon for the Kevin Campbell Foundation, thank you so much. At ease, Squaddies, at ease.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
I love this comment. Hit the like, miss.